First contact. The vast, inky expanse of space stretched out before the sleek, silver-hulled starship as it glided effortlessly through the cosmos. On the bridge, the crew of the Endeavour, humanity's first deep space exploration vessel, buzzed with anticipation. After years of training and preparation, they were about to make history, first contact with an alien civilization. Captain Sarah Erickson stood at the center of the bridge, her keen eyes scanning the sensor readouts. "Report," she commanded, her voice calm and authoritative. "We're approaching the coordinates, Captain," Lieutenant Commander Jansen reported, his fingers flying across the console. "Sensors are detecting signs of intelligent life on the third planet in the system. It appears to be a Class M world, similar to Earth." Erickson nodded, a faint smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "Excellent. Begin hailing the planet on all frequencies. Let's see if we can make a friendly introduction." The communication officer, Ensign Patel, took a deep breath and activated the ship's transmitters. "Attention, unknown civilization. This is the Starship Endeavour of the United Earth Alliance. We come in peace, seeking to establish contact and foster friendship between our peoples. Please respond." Silence stretched on for what felt like an eternity, the crew of the Endeavour holding their breath in anticipation. Then suddenly, a crackle of static came through the speakers, followed by a series of strange melodic sounds. Patel's eyes widened. "Captain, I'm detecting a response. It's an audio transmission, but the language is unlike anything I've ever encountered." Erickson stepped closer, listening intently. "Can you translate it?" Patel shook his head, his brow furrowed in concentration. "I'm afraid not, ma'am. The syntax and phonemes are completely alien to us. But the tone seems—" He paused, searching for the right words. Curious, almost cautious. Erickson considered this for a moment, then turned to the science officer, Dr. Avery. "What can you tell me about the planet and its inhabitants?" Avery's fingers danced across her console, calling up the latest sensor readings. "The planet is remarkably similar to Earth in terms of atmospheric composition, climate, and gravity. The land masses appear to be covered in a diverse array of flora, and we're detecting signs of complex, multicellular life forms." She looked up, her eyes shining with scientific wonder. "Captain, this is an incredible discovery. We may have just made first contact with an intelligent alien species." Erickson felt a surge of excitement, tempered by the gravity of the situation. "Then we must proceed with the utmost caution. Lieutenant Jansen, bring us into a stable orbit, but maintain a safe distance. Ensign Patel, keep attempting to communicate, but don't overwhelm them. We don't want to appear threatening." "Aye, aye, Captain," the two officers responded in unison, turning to their tasks. As the Endeavour maneuvered into position, Erickson couldn't help but wonder what wonders and challenges this encounter would bring. The fate of two worlds now rested in their hands, and she was determined to forge a lasting, peaceful connection between humanity and this alien civilization. With a deep breath, she stepped closer to the viewscreen, her eyes fixed on the distant blue-green world below. "Welcome to the galactic community," she murmured. "Let the dance of diplomacy begin." Diplomatic overtures. Days turned into weeks as the Endeavour maintained its orbit around the alien world, carefully cataloging its features and attempting to establish communication with the inhabitants below. The crew worked tirelessly, analyzing the incoming data and pondering the implications of this historic first contact. Captain Erickson pored over the latest reports, her brow furrowed in concentration. "So we've determined that the dominant life forms on the planet are a bipedal, humanoid species with a range of physical characteristics and skin tones. Their technology appears to be relatively advanced, with evidence of complex agricultural systems, urban settlements, and even some rudimentary space exploration." She turned to her science officer, Dr. Avery. "And what have we learned about their language and culture?" Avery cleared her throat, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "It's truly fascinating, Captain. The alien species, which we've tentatively named the Valen, have a complex spoken and written language, with a rich history and diverse cultural traditions. Their social structures seem to be organized around a series of city-states, each with its own unique political and religious customs. Yet, we still haven't been able to establish meaningful communication, Erickson noted, her tone tinged with frustration. Patel, the communications officer, spoke up. That's correct, ma'am. We've tried a variety of techniques, from simple audio and visual cues to more sophisticated mathematical and scientific transmissions. But the Valen appear to be highly cautious and reserved in their responses. They seem to be observing us rather than engaging directly. Erickson nodded, her expression thoughtful. Understandable, given the magnitude of this first contact scenario. We're dealing with an entirely new civilization, one that may view us as a potential threat. She paused, then straightened her shoulders with determination. Well, then it's our job to change that perception. Ensign Patel, prepare a diplomatic delegation to make planetfall. I want our first official meeting with the Valen to be a positive, welcoming experience. Patel's eyes widened. Planetfall, ma'am? You mean send a landing party down to the surface? That's exactly what I mean, Erickson replied, a faint smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. It's time we took the next step in establishing relations with our new neighbors. Assemble a team of our best and brightest, scientists, linguists, and diplomats. We'll approach the Valen with open hearts and open minds, and show them that humanity comes in peace. As the crew sprang into action, Erickson turned her gaze back to the serene, blue-green world below. Let's see if we can't break down those barriers and forge a lasting alliance, she murmured. For the sake of both our civilizations, the dance of diplomacy must continue. The landing party, led by Erickson herself, descended through the planet's atmosphere in a sleek shuttlecraft. As they neared the surface, the crew gazed in awe at the sprawling cities and lush alien landscapes below. Erickson took a deep, steadying breath, feeling the weight of their mission settle upon her shoulders. All right, everyone, she addressed the team. Remember, we are ambassadors of humanity. Let's show the Valen the best of what we have to offer. The shuttle touched down gently in a vast, open plaza, surrounded by towering crystalline structures that seemed to shimmer in the alien sunlight. Erickson and her team stepped out, their hands raised in a gesture of peace as a crowd of curious Valens slowly approached. For a moment, the two groups stood in silence, studying each other with a mixture of trepidation and wonder. Then, a lone Valen, his features regal and his bearing confident, stepped forward. He raised a hand, his fingers spreading in a gesture that seemed to mirror the human's own. Erickson felt a surge of hope as she recognized the universal sign of greeting. With a warm smile, she stepped toward the Valen, her own hand mirroring his. I am Captain Sarah Erickson of the United Earth Alliance, she said, her voice clear and steady. We come in peace, seeking to learn from your people and share the wonders of our own world. The Valen regarded her for a moment, his eyes inscrutable. Then, to the human's delight, he inclined his head in a gesture of acknowledgement. I am Councillor Varthos, he replied, his voice rich and melodic. We welcome you, Earthlings, to our world. Let the dance of diplomacy begin. Cultural exchange. The Endeavour's diplomatic delegation, led by Captain Erickson, found themselves immersed in a whirlwind of activity as they began their cultural exchange with the Valen. Eager to learn about this new alien civilization, the humans dove headfirst into the opportunity, their curiosity and wonder fueling every interaction. Erickson and Councillor Varthos quickly established a rapport, their initial formality giving way to a genuine curiosity and mutual respect. As they walked through the bustling streets of the Valen capital, Varthos explained the intricate details of his people's history, customs, and technological achievements. Our society is built upon the principles of harmony and balance, Varthos said, his melodic voice infused with a sense of pride. We revere the natural world, and our cities are designed to coexist in symbiosis with the land. Each settlement has its own unique architectural style, reflecting the diverse cultures and traditions of our people. Erickson listened, her mind racing with questions. Fascinating. Your cities are truly magnificent, Counselor. I can't help but notice the lack of any apparent military or defensive structures. Is your world truly free from conflict? Varthos paused, his expression thoughtful. Not entirely, Captain. While we prize peace and cooperation, there have been times throughout our history when disharmony and strife have threatened the delicate balance of our civilization. However, we found that the path of diplomacy and mutual understanding is far more powerful than that of violence and subjugation. Erickson nodded, her respect for the Valen growing. I can certainly appreciate that sentiment. On Earth, we've had our own long and tumultuous history of conflict, but we're striving to overcome our differences and embrace a future of cooperation and exploration. As they continued their tour, the human delegation marveled at the Valen's advanced technological capabilities. Gleaming spires of crystal and metal housed bustling hubs of activity, with Valen scientists and engineers seamlessly integrating their knowledge and resources. Dr. Avery, the Endeavour's chief scientist, was particularly enthralled by a massive, dome-like structure that seemed to hum with a barely perceptible energy. Counselor, what can you tell me about this facility? She asked, her eyes wide with fascination. Varthos smiled, sensing the human's excitement. Ah, yes, this is one of our primary research and development centers. Within these walls, we study the intricacies of our planet's ecosystem, as well as the mysteries of the cosmos beyond. It is where our brightest minds collaborate to push the boundaries of scientific understanding. Avery nodded, her fingers itching to explore the facility. I'd be honored to have the opportunity to observe your researches at work, Counselor. The potential for shared knowledge and discoveries between our civilizations is truly staggering. Varthos inclined his head. And we would be equally honored to welcome you and your fellow scientists, Dr. Avery. The dance of diplomacy is one of mutual exploration and understanding. Let us take the first steps together. As the tour continued, the human delegation found themselves captivated by the Valen's rich cultural tapestry. They marveled at the intricate artworks that adorned the city's buildings, the melodic, soothing tones of the Valen's language, and the graceful, almost choreographed movements that seemed to permeate every aspect of daily life. Erickson couldn't help but feel a sense of kinship with these alien beings. Despite the vast gulf of their respective civilizations, there was a shared humanity, a desire for connection and understanding that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. As the sun began to set, casting the city in a warm, golden glow, Erickson turned to Varthos, a smile spreading across her face. Counselor, I believe this is the start of a beautiful friendship. The dance of diplomacy has only just begun, and I can't wait to see where it leads us. Varthos returned her smile, his eyes twinkling with a newfound sense of optimism. Indeed, Captain Erickson, the future is ours to shape together. Shared wonders. As the days turned into weeks, the cultural exchange between the humans and the Valen blossomed into a thriving partnership. The Endeavour's crew and their Valen counterparts worked tirelessly, immersing themselves in each other's worlds and forging lasting bonds of friendship and collaboration. In the Valen research facility, Dr. Avery and her team of scientists marveled at the technological marvels that their alien hosts had to offer. Gleaming, crystalline structures housed advanced computers and communication systems, while state-of-the-art laboratories teemed with cutting-edge experiments and discoveries. The Valen has such a profound understanding of the natural world, Avery mused, her eyes shining with wonder as she studied the intricate schematics of a Valen hovercraft. Their mastery of renewable energy, autonomous systems, and bioengineering is truly astounding. Integrating our knowledge with theirs could lead to breakthroughs that could transform both our civilizations. Across the sprawling Valen capital, the crew of the Endeavour immersed themselves in the daily rhythms of the alien society. They observed the Valen's agricultural practices, where teams of workers tended to lush, verdant fields using advanced hydroponics and precision-controlled climates. they witnessed the Valen's intricate system of governance, where elected representatives from each city-state gathered to debate and enact policies that upheld the delicate balance of their world. Erickson watched with a sense of pride as the representatives from these varied civilizations worked together, setting aside their differences in pursuit of a common goal. "This is truly a historic moment," she murmured to Varthos, a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "The dance of diplomacy has become a symphony, with each species contributing their own melody to the grand cosmic harmony." Varthos nodded, his eyes shining with a newfound sense of optimism. "Indeed, Captain, we stand at the cusp of a new era, one where the barriers that have long divided us are transformed into bridges of understanding and shared purpose." As the alliance solidified, the humans and the Valen continued to play a central role, their partnership serving as a beacon of hope and inspiration for the entire galaxy. Together, they worked tirelessly to establish a system of governance, a framework for scientific and cultural exchange, and a commitment to the protection of the fragile cosmic balance. In the years that followed, the alliance weathered its fair share of challenges, from political tensions to the occasional threat from hostile civilizations. But through it all, the humans and the Valen remained steadfast, their bond growing ever stronger as they navigated the complexities of interstellar diplomacy. For in the dance of diplomacy, they had found not just a means to an end, but a way of life, one that celebrated the diversity of the galaxy while embracing the common threads that bound all sentient beings together. Legacy of the stars. Generations had passed since the momentous first contact between the humans and the Valen, and the legacy of their partnership had only continued to grow stronger with the passage of time. What had once been a fledgling alliance had blossomed into a thriving interstellar community, a shining beacon of cooperation and shared purpose in the vast expanse of the cosmos. As the descendant of the original Endeavour crew and their Valen counterparts gathered to reflect on their shared history, a profound sense of wonder and pride filled the air. They had witnessed the transformation of their worlds, the breaking down of barriers, and the forging of unbreakable bonds between species that had once been strangers. Dr. Avery Jansen, the great-granddaughter of the Endeavour's pioneering scientists, stood before the assembled group, her eyes shining with emotion. "When our ancestors first set foot on Valen, they could scarcely have imagined the wonders that would unfold before us. A partnership born of curiosity and mutual respect has grown into a galactic union that has transformed the very fabric of our civilizations." She gestured to the vast, gleaming structures that surrounded them, testaments to the technological and scientific advancements that had been achieved through cross-pollination of human and Valen knowledge. "The innovations we have brought to life, the mysteries of the universe we have unlocked, the bonds of friendship we have forged, all of it a testament to the power of unity and the indomitable spirit of exploration." Beside her, Councillor Varthos Kesh, a descendant of the original Valen diplomat, nodded in agreement, his expression serene. "Our ancestors knew that the path of diplomacy, though fraught with challenges, was the surest way to a future of harmony and shared prosperity. They dared to take that first step, to breach the divide between our worlds, and in doing so, they paved the way for generations to come." He turned to the gathered crowd, his voice resonant and filled with pride. "Today, we stand as citizens of a united galactic community, our diversity as strength, our shared dreams the driving force behind our continued exploration and discovery. The dance of diplomacy that began all those years ago has become a symphony, with each species adding their own unique melody to the grand orchestration of our collective destiny." Captain Erickson Varthos, the latest in a long line of human Valen leadership, stepped forward, her bearing regal and her smile warm. "Our forebears would be amazed to see how far we have come, but I believe they would also be incredibly proud. For in the annals of history, the partnership between Earth and Valen will be remembered as a shining example of what can be achieved when we set aside our differences and work together, guided by the principles of curiosity, compassion, and a relentless drive to push the boundaries of the known." She raised her hand, gesturing to the vast, shimmering expanse of the galaxy that stretched out before them. The legacy of our ancestors lives on in every explorer who ventures into the unknown, in every scientist who unlocks the secrets of the cosmos, in every child who gazes up at the stars and dreams of the wonders that await. This is our inheritance, our shared destiny, to continue the dance of diplomacy, to forge new connections, and to expand the horizons of all sentient life. As the gathering erupted in a thunderous applause, the descendants of the human and Valin pioneers felt a deep, abiding sense of purpose. The journey was far from over, but they knew that with their steadfast partnership and unwavering commitment to exploration and discovery, the future of the galactic community was bright indeed. For the dance of diplomacy had become a way of life, a guiding principle that would continue to shape the course of the cosmos for generations to come.